Wow. Honestly, when it rains, it pours for the Celtics.
Yeah.
We are, what, days away from the regular season kicking off, and honestly, the NBA news is just, it's nonstop. Feels like every single hour there's, another star injury scare or a massive contract getting signed or some signing that just totally shifts things.
It really is relentless. We've got so much information coming in, everything from like hamstring tightness that could derail a contender to these huge organizational bets, culture versus maybe immediate production. So our mission here for this deep dive is really to cut through all that noise. Let's try and unpack the big stuff affecting the Celtics, the Kings, and the Lakers.
And yeah, we got to set the scene, right? In our world here, OKC Thunder are the champs.
Right.
And Luka's running point in LA. So these early problems we're seeing, they feel even bigger when you're comparing against that OKC defensive juggernaut.
Precisely. There's zero margin for error this season, it feels like. Okay, so let's dig in. Starting in Boston, where that opening line you had really hits home, the big story from the preseason game against Toronto, Jaylen Brown's health. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and the way it happened was so normal. Like 7 minutes in, brings the ball up, simple pass, and bam, reaches right back for the left hamstring, ruled doubtful to return, hamstring tightness. For Celtics fans, that's got to be the worst sound imaginable.
Mm-hmm. And this is where, the history really matters. It's not just a hamstring tweak. This is, depending on who you ask, the 7th, 8th, maybe even 10th time he's dealt with this kind of soft tissue thing. It's a huge red flag, creates a real problem for management.
Okay, but wait. This is the guy you just gave, hundreds of millions to? He wants to play opening night. If JB says, I'm 100%, don't you kind of have to trust him?
You absolutely cannot. And that's the key takeaway from the medical reports we're seeing. Soft tissue stuff. It doesn't care what the player wants, right? It follows biology. If he pushes it at 99%, that tightness, it jumps to a grade 1, grade 2 strain real fast. Then he's out for a month, maybe more. And look at Boston's opening schedule. It's brutal. Cleveland, Philly, trying to navigate that without Brown. That's worst case scenario territory.
So the call has to be overrule the player, even if it means he sits the first, week or two.
It's the only smart play. The experts are pretty clear you have to be extraordinarily careful. Some even say give him a couple extra days beyond when he thinks he's ready. Just stretch it out. Missing a week or two now is so much better than losing him for a huge chunk later, like in December. For Boston this year, it's less about sprinting out of the gate and more about, just getting Brown healthy for the long haul, for the spring.
Okay, that definitely changes the perspective on their start. But okay, silver linings, right? We got to talk about Xavier Tillman. He was the hero in that Raptors game when Brown went out.
Oh, absolutely. What a performance. And you hear the backstory. He worked so hard this offseason, lost 12 pounds, said his knee finally feels right after admitting last year he literally didn't want to jump. I mean, wow. And then to come out and drop 7 points in the last 4 minutes, hit the game-winning floater, that's huge for him personally.
Yeah.
Talk about validation.
And Derek White. Can't forget him. With Brown out and Tatum also sitting that one, White goes off for 33 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, 4 blocks. He just keeps proving he can absolutely carry the load when needed. His IQ is just off the charts.
White is he's the perfect complementary star, isn't he? His ability to step up like that. It means if Boston does make the smart call and rest Brown, they actually have someone who can, manage the offense at a really high level. It helps them play that long game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which kind of leads us nicely into long-term planning versus immediate crisis, because the Sacramento Kings, they've been making some big moves, big money, big personalities.
Betting big time on stability, it looks like. First up, they got Keegan Murray locked down, 5 years, $140 million extension.
Okay, $140 million, that's $28 million a year, right?
Yeah.
Slightly more than Jabari Smith Jr. got. What's that tell you? About how they value Murray versus, say, immediate impact.
Well, internally, it's a massive celebration. You got to remember, Sacramento has had real trouble keeping their own draft picks for that second contract. So getting Murray done, that's foundational for them. They're prioritizing that long-term stability, even though Murray's actually out right now. 4 to 6 weeks. Left thumb surgery needed immediate attention. So yeah, you pay for the future, even if it hurts a bit now.
Right, but that short-term hurt gets amplified. Because their other big move was signing Russell Westbrook, 1 year minimum. Suddenly, Sacramento is the 3rd oldest team in the NBA. Why get older when your young star is already on the shelf?
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive on the surface, but the thinking here is it's all culture. It's not about Russ coming in to score 20 a night. The goal is building this new identity, right?
Yeah.
Defense first, super physical, tough. And they believe Westbrook, even now, brings that intensity, that edge. He's like, the best extension of the coach on the floor, setting that standard in the locker room.
So it's not lead scorer Westbrook,
No.
it's locker room enforcer Westbrook, setting the tone.
Pretty much. Backup point guard minutes, probably 15, maybe 20 a night. Push the pace, sure. But mostly, demand effort, demand physicality, get in guys' faces, you know? The stuff that doesn't always show up in the box score, but that you need against. Like the Thunder, holding young guys accountable. That's the bet.
That's a fascinating gamble, treating youth for that kind of proven intensity. But man, talk about bad timing. No sooner do they make these moves, Domantas Sabonis leaves the Clippers game. Hamstring injury. Severity unknown.
And that's the real danger, right? Murray's out 4-6 weeks. Now Sabonis, their absolute rock right now, might be out. They seriously cannot afford to lose anybody else. If Sabonis misses real time, that whole culture reset gets tested immediately, not just in the locker room, but by, potentially losing a bunch of games early. That could sink things fast.
Yeah, you're right. Hard to build culture on losses. They might need every bit of Westbrook's energy just to tread water if Sabonis is out too. Wow. Okay, let's shift gears. Los Angeles Lakers, another contender dealing with a star absence, but this one maybe more expected.
Yeah, the LeBron situation. It's key to setting expectations for the Lakers, especially, again, when OKC is the defending champ. So LeBron's aiming for a mid-November return, earliest. He's dealing with that sciatica, the nerve pain from that workout back in late July, early August.
It's November. So if it's right around, say, the 15th, he misses maybe 14 games, something like that. That's a decent chunk of the early season without your leader.
And the ramp-up is crucial here. Because it's nerve pain, you can't just play through it or train through it in the same way. Once the doctors clear him, he needs 3.5 weeks just for conditioning and getting his timing back on the court. It's not like flipping a switch.
Okay, but this is where having Luka in this timeline changes everything for LA, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The word is the Lakers can actually survive or even thrive while LeBron's out, which, a few years ago, unthinkable.
It's kind of a fascinating opportunity. LeBron's out, so Luka gets all the tees, maximize his usage, really establish himself without, LeBron's gravity on the court. But it's also huge for the other guys. Deandre Ayton, Rui Hachimura. They get more touches, more responsibility to find their roles. We saw glimpses, right? Gabe Vincent hitting 5 threes in a quarter in preseason. Jackson Hayes with a solid 12 and 10 games.
So LeBron being out, while obviously not ideal, it kind of forces the rest of the team to step up and build chemistry now, makes them potentially stronger when he does come back healthy later in November or December.
Yeah.
It turns a negative into, a forced development period.
Yeah.
Because Luka can carry so much offensively.
That's basically the gamble for a lot of these teams this season, isn't it?
Yeah.
High risk, high reward.
So, okay, let's wrap this up. You look at all this uncertainty. Brown's hamstring, LeBron's nerve issue, now Sabonis potentially hurt. Who's facing the most pressure right now, today?
Yeah, that's the big question hanging over everything, isn't it? Is it more pressure on Luka to basically carry the Lakers, keep them afloat against tough competition, make sure they don't dig too deep a hole early on? Yeah. Or is it more pressure on the Kings, trying to install this whole new culture with Westbrook, build this new identity while their key big man might be out and their newly paid young star is already sidelined? It really feels like these first few weeks, they could set the trajectory for all these teams. This season starting less like a race, more like a massive stress test on Boston's medical staff and patience, on Sacramento's bet, on culture, on LA's depth behind Luka. It's going to be fascinating to watch unfold.
Thank you for listening. Please comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Spotify, please leave 5-star review. Until next time.